Hello, my name is Jason Tanner, and this video is about customer value analysis, the starting point for the Profit Engine framework, brought to you by Applied Frameworks. So the topics that I'll be covering in this video include the value challenge, value definitions, types of economic value, how to estimate value, describe value, and validating and updating value. So let's get started. The Profit Engine framework canvas was introduced by a recent blog post by my colleague Carlton Nettleton. And this framework enables businesses to create business models that succinctly describe the way that the business will actually make money and create opportunities to generate more revenue and in turn more profit. So this video starts in the top left with customer value. We want to dig into the question of how do customers define value? So to start, the challenge here is that economic value is not necessarily the perceived value. So we can take an economic view and look at demand curves and try to establish specific value points. However, our customers are going to perceive the value in their own way. And there's often a difference between the true economic value and what customers are willing to pay. And really deeply understanding how customers perceive value will actually drive the best choices that we can make when we think about the rest of the framework and pricing, ROI models, and additional profit engines, which create more money-making events. So customers ultimately define value. This really is not necessarily surprising. However, it is important to really dig into how customers look at value, because value will drive the value exchange model. How are we going to offer the product? Are we going to offer a subscription, or are we going to offer content as the model for exchange? The value definition is going to drive pricing, licensing, and as I mentioned before, profit drivers, additional profit engines to enable additional economic growth. So let's look at definitions of value. The first is an economic view, which is the use value or the utility. This is the worth of the product or service which somebody purchases, which is a bit different than a total economic value, which is the monetary and psychological value of a product or service. So this is where we get into how the product makes someone feel, as well as some additional intangibles. So in some cases, we may have products that are purely psychological. Entertainment products would fall in this category. In other cases, we're going to have products which actually will either reduce costs, increase revenue, as well as be pleasant to use. They're easy to use. There's a feeling of success from using the product, and we're actually potentially delivering additional benefits beyond the worth of the product or utility of the product from an economic point of view. Hidden value is other additional non-obvious value. So this could be analysis. So as we look at our case study, we're going to see an example of economic value delivered through the marketing campaigns of a product, but there's additional non-obvious value from the analytics that are available in the product. And then next, I think is a category that's important for a lot of you that may be watching, which is internal value. Some of these same concepts will apply when we're thinking about software products and services that drive the internal business, such as an underwriting system within an insurance company. There is a value to a highly reliable, fast, easy to use underwriting system that is accurate in underwriting new policies for insurance customers. So we're really going to be focused here on commercial value in our examples. So what are types of economic value? First, increasing revenue, my favorite. So value of the products that we have to run our business are all about the ways that we can drive more revenue for our services and products. Next is reducing costs. In fact, in most cases, increasing revenue is almost always preferred to reducing costs. However, there is a lot of economic value in products that do help reduce customer costs. Increasing operating capital. So any product that can help increase capital is great, followed by reducing capital investment, reducing new capital investments, as well as managing risk, risk mitigation, risk avoidance, all valid uh, economic value uh, levers. And finally, improving optionality, creating additional options. So any product that, uh, as a result of the investment, increases the number of options for a customer would be the final type of economic value. Now, estimating value is potentially the most important part of this video. And really, we're going to dive into a bit with a framework I'll introduce. So the first way to estimate value is establishing a competitive reference value. So what is the next best competitive alternative for your customer? In some cases, this is doing nothing or the status quo for the customer. So that may be a good place to think about what someone's doing today as a reference point for establishing your initial idea of value and then getting into modeling. Future videos will look at how to model value, but for now, we'll talk about how to gather reference value through customer research and customer interviews. So it can be both desk research, where we're looking at competitors in a similar space or adjacent space and how they establish value. And alternately, probably the best way is to talk directly to existing or prospective customers about what they value in the context of the product or service that you offer. This is, of course, iterative and ongoing. As we go through this final framework and case study, you'll see that there's an opportunity to revalidate the value estimation that you've done, measure value more with customers, particularly as you're introducing new capabilities to customers, new benefits, as well as the marketplace shifts. Value perception from the point of view of the customer may shift as well. So there's an iterative nature to maintaining how you perceive or how you explain and communicate value that'll affect the perception of value by your customers. So here's the framework that I'm going to introduce for quantifying value. And you can see that it starts with the person or customer who is going to receive the value. This is going to be a specific customer segment or set of customer segments that will be receiving the value. Then we're going to summarize what value the solution provides. And then we're going to look at the economic impact of that solution. What's the magnitude of the value from the point of view of the customer, which typically we want to express in some type of formula. Next is how easy is it for the customer to access the value? How easy is it to get started with the product or service and then continue to use the product or service? And finally, we want to classify whether this is increasing revenue, decreasing costs, or potentially you can write in one of the other value drivers. And as you can see here, a formula to state the value. With our product, you can reduce the cost by X% or potentially by some estimated amount of money. Alternately, with the product, you'll be able to accomplish increased sales by 10% or by $100,000. And then explaining how to do it would be framing and marketing the product. So here's an example. Taking MailChimp as an example, I'll be using MailChimp throughout this series of videos because there's really a lot of good insights you can gather here. And you can see MailChimp clearly is targeting small businesses here, right here in the smack middle of the homepage. And then you can see what MailChimp offers and really explains as you scroll through the homepage. It's really about getting your business online with the website and domain, then marketing your business. Of course, the core here is marketing campaigns. So email communications with customers. They also offer some additional services we'll look at in a moment. So really it's about reach, content, automation, and then taking action based on the analysis you can do with their product. So as I look at the framework, small businesses are receiving the value, and I can summarize this value as an all-in-one marketing platform. Websites, campaigns, really about reaching an audience, creating content, automating, and analyzing. So as we think about the economic impact, you see that MailChimp has got multiple frames of reference here, which is interesting for how they describe the payoff on investing in MailChimp. You know, increasing orders by 6x, increasing online bookings by 37%, 5x ROI on a physical postcard campaign on their YouTube channel. So while they don't effectively make any guarantees. In fact, at the bottom, you see the results aren't typical for 17th Street. They do have some good claims here that would be useful to frame the value, communicate the value, and try to persuade or affect the perception of value by a customer. So as we come back here, an example could be with MailChimp, you can increase orders by up to 6x. Then you can see the magnitude here is really about increasing the lifetime value, the LTV of customers, and can be measured in multiple ways. Number of signups on the email list, your email newsletter, could be number of orders, could be the ROI of the marketing investment that you're making with their product. So as you think about accessibility, as a MailChimp user ourselves, really to get started, this is all about importing or adding contacts, setting up campaigns, designing emails, and managing campaigns. Now, while MailChimp has made this easy to do, there is some work involved. So I classify this as medium to get started and start accessing the value that the product offers. And of course, this is a play to increase revenue as a product. So that's the framework. And for value quantification, as I go into future videos, we'll be looking more at the other elements of Profit Engine framework. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll download this value quantification framework. And if you do have any feedback, comments, questions, please do feel free to reach out to me via email at jtanner@appliedframeworks.com. Thank you very much for your time.